Today's lecture is on accounting equation, and relevant chapter from the book is chapter 2. So this lecture and the next lecture is based on chapter 2. Those who have the book, so they can turn into chapter 2. So as I said earlier, all the lectures, there must be some objectives. Here, once you complete this lecture, so you should be able to define and explain elements of accounting equation, explain the recognition criteria of elements of accounting equation, and define double entry accounting. This is the accounting method that we are going to learn throughout our career. Explain double entry principles, explain the difference between T account and columnar form account or columnar format. There are two account formats, so we must know the basics or the shape of these two accounts. Having said that, we can look at the accounting equation. Accounting equation is the presentation of relationship between assets, liabilities, and owner's equity in equation form. So this is the accounting equation. A equals L plus OE. A, assets. L, liabilities. OE, owner's equity. Then still you do not know what is meant by assets, what is meant by liabilities, what is meant by owner's equity. Still you do not know. Then we must know the exact meaning of these elements. These three are elements of accounting equation. So, what is meant by asset? Asset is a resource controlled by an entity as a result of past events and from which future economic benefits are expected to flow to the entity. These definitions were taken from international accounting standards. These are the standards we follow throughout. It says asset is a resource. What type of resource? This resource is controlled by an entity. Entity means a business. This is the term we use in accounting, entity. As a result of past events. Past events. So we have here assets, various assets. Chairs, cameras, microphones, computers, all these are assets. These are controlled by the entity. These assets are not controlled by me. I don't have interest here. Rather than coming here and lecturing, that's my interest. So these assets are controlled by the entity, university. If it is a business organization, the furniture, equipment, vehicles, All these are controlled by that business entity. Controlled by an entity as a result of past events. Past events means in the past, the entity purchased these items or constructed by the entity. Past events. Not all the time it is a transaction, sometimes events. You transfer one asset to another person and in return you get another one. So that is an event. Construction, an event. Again, at the same time you can buy also. So all these are called events. And from which future economic benefits are expected to flow to the entity. The business own a vehicle, a truck. For what purpose it is used? To transport goods. You purchase goods and bring them over here. And you sell goods and deliver them. The part of the business. You have the building, sales outlet. So these assets will benefit the business, flow to the business. Benefits are expected. Right? All the assets. Any item, if it is an asset, there must be some future economic benefits. So that's how assets are defined. So in future, this is the definition you are required to use. These things you know, right? If I ask you to prepare a list, you may prepare a list like this without any problem. But you can't say assets are land and buildings. No, that is not a definition. I gave you the standard definition. These are examples. Land and buildings, furniture, motor vehicles, plant and machinery, office equipment, cash at bank, inventories, sometimes referred to as stock. Debtors, another term, account receivable. Debtors means the credit customers. You sell goods on credit, and they are required to pay that amount at a later date. So these credit customers are called debtors in accounting. Then how do you recognize assets? Assets are recognized for accounting purposes once the following criteria are satisfied. Number one, it is probable that the future economic benefits will flow to the entity. So in the definition, we included this term, future economic benefits. So one of the criterion to be satisfied is it is probable that the future economic benefits will flow to the entity. If there is any doubt, if it is not probable, so then you cannot recognize that event or transaction as an asset. Number two, the asset has a cost or value that can be measured reliably. So measurement is important, I said in my previous lecture. Measurement, without reliable measurement, we cannot make entries in the accounting records. So asset has a cost. Okay. If it is purchased, it is the transaction cost. You know at what price you purchase this. If it is a construction, still you can value that building or furniture or machine or whatever. You know the material used, you know the labor used, you know the overhead cost incurred, and when you add all these components, then you will get the value of the asset. Value of the assets. Some entities purchase assets and also construct assets. Some businesses, they purchase assets and use. Whatever the case may be, it has a cost or value. Right? Yes. So then we can recognize it as an asset. Otherwise, no. Another element in accounting equation is liabilities. Liabilities are present obligations of an entity arising from past events, the settlement of which is expected to result in an outlay from the entity of resources embodying economic benefits. Again, difficult to digest. Let me read it again. Liabilities are present obligations of an entity arising from past events. Obligations. Obligations means commitments. Commitments. Liability is a commitment arising from past events. Past events means in the past we purchased goods on credit. We sign an agreement, loan agreement, and obtain a loan. So it is the past event. And the settlement of which is expected to result in an outlay from the entity, the resources embodying economic benefits. You have to sacrifice some of the economic benefits. That's all. You have to sacrifice some of the economic benefits. For settlement, there must be an outlay as well. Outlay means you are paying cash or you are giving some resources, cash or stocks or some other asset. Say you have a loan to settle 10,000 kina. Instead of paying 10,000 kina, you can transfer your vehicle. Right? Outlay of cash or some other resource. So these are the two things. One is, it is an obligation, current obligation, and arising from past events. And for settlement, you have to sacrifice your economic resources. Examples: loans, creditors. Again, creditor I explained in my previous lecture. Creditors means credit suppliers. The suppliers who supplied goods on credit. And another term we use is accounts payable. Accounts payable and creditors same. Loans and bank overdraft are not same. They are different. Loans are long-term obligations. Bank overdraft is a short-term obligation, and only check account holders are able to obtain bank overdrafts. It is the amount withdrawn in excess of what is there in the bank account. So you have 500 kina in your bank account and you write a check for 1,500 and cash it, then your bank account balance is minus 1,000. Minus 1,000. That minus 1,000 is called bank overdraft. But under normal circumstances, don't write any checks like that, right? It is an offense, right? But you have to have an arrangement with the bank. That is called the approval, prior approval. If you have a prior approval for bank overdraft, yes, you can. Otherwise, don't draw any checks. Huh? Another term, new term. Accrued expenses, also a liability. Accrued expenses or expenses payable. Accrued expenses is the term we used in accounting very often. Sometimes, as I think I explained in the previous lecture as well, we get services and later you pay. Like in the case of goods. We purchase goods today and pay later. We get the service today and pay later. That's also happening. The good example is the telephone. Water. We get these services first and pay later. And also, if it is a known party, repairs, electrical repairs, plumbing, so you can ask a service provider, a plumbing company, to come and do your plumbing work, repairs, and later you pay. Then it is called accrued expenses. How to recognize liabilities? The following criteria should be satisfied. It is probable that an outflow of resources embodying economic benefits will result from the settlement of present obligation. This is certain. So there will be an outflow of resources embodying economic benefits. We'll have to use our cash to settle liabilities. So then we don't, then as a result of this, we cannot use cash for some other purpose. Cash is an asset which can be used for future economic benefits, but now you are using it for settlement of present obligation. Then the second criteria, the amount of which the settlement will take place can be measured reliably. Yeah, liability can be measured reliably. This is the amount in kina, 10,000 or 5,875. The amount can be measured reliably. for the settlement of a liability. So when these two are satisfied, yes, we recognize that item is a liability. Then what is the next element in basic accounting equation? Owner's equity. Owner's equity is the residual interest in the assets of the entity after deducting all its liabilities. So you may think that it is a funny definition. Although it is funny, this is the way it is defined in the international accounting standards. Right? Equity is the residual interest in the assets of an entity after deducting its liabilities. That means assets minus liabilities is the owner's equity, because asset equals liability plus owner's equity is the equation. Right? So then this is the definition. Easy to remember. Since this is the residual interest, there is no recognition criteria. There is no recognition criteria. Just deduct liabilities from the total assets, then that is the owner's equity. Owner's equity. Owner's equity consists of initial capital, the capital introduced at the beginning of the year or for the start, plus additional capital introduced later on for the expansion of the business. After introducing the initial capital, so subsequently the owner has introduced some more capital. That is called additional capital. Then add net profit earned during the year minus drawings. What is meant by drawings? The amounts drawn by the owner for personal use. This may be cash. This may be cash. The owner comes and takes some cash for personal use because there is no any other way of, any other source of income. This is the only source. So he takes some money from the business. So that is called drawings. At the same time, if we want some goods to be taken from the business, if it is say a grocery store, then he has to take sugar, rice, flour, milk, noodles, biscuits for daily use. So once you add the value of these items, then it is called drawings. Sometimes net losses, if there is a loss, minus. Right? Once you deduct drawings from total capital plus net profit, then you will end up with the owner's equity. So these are the components. And also, we can introduce some other items like expenses and revenue to the accounting equation to expand the accounting equation, basic accounting equation. Then we must know the meaning of expenses. Expenses are decreases in economic benefits during the accounting period in the form of outflows. Decrease in economic benefits. So that means you are reducing your assets. During the accounting period, that is the most important term or key term here in this sentence, in this definition. Accounting period, during the accounting period. So this decreases of economic benefits applicable to the current year only. Current year only. And depletions of assets, also part of expenses. So one is decrease in economic benefits during the accounting period in the form of outflows from the business, and also depletion of assets. The good example is the depreciation. When you use machinery, equipment, vehicles, what will happen? Wear and tear. So then the value will reduce. That portion is called depletion. Depletion. The accounting term, we have an accounting term that is called depreciation, but there is another term, depletion. Depletion includes everything. Say it is a mine. If it is a mine, what will happen? Deplete. When you take out the resources, mineral resources, the total mineral deposits will reduce. That is also depletion. So to cover everything, we use the term depletions. And also the incurrence of liabilities that result in the decrease in equity other than those relating to distributions to equity participants. Incurrence of liabilities means the services that I explained earlier. You obtain services on credit and incur liability, that is the accrued expense. So understand it that way rather than going by the sentence. Obtaining services on credit. Distribution to equity participants means dividends. That means dividend is not part of expenses. That is the meaning. But we don't have to go that far at this stage. These are the examples. Salary expenses, rent expenses, stationery, electricity, interest, transport, traveling, repairs and maintenance, office expenses, depreciation, bad debts. Bad debts is the amount written off as bad from the debtors. Sometimes debtors don't pay some amounts, so then we have to write it off. That is called bad debts. How to recognize expenses? Again, the following criteria should be satisfied. There must be decrease in future economic benefits related to a decrease in an asset or an increase in liability. If this is happening, it is treated as an expense. Decrease in an asset. You incur an expense, say salaries and wages, then you pay in cash. Then total cash available within the business will reduce by that amount. Decrease of asset, cash. And you get the service of a plumber and pay later. So then it increases the liability, accrued expense. And the other criteria, the value of such changes can be measured reliably. Value of such changes. Changes means decrease in future economic benefits related to a decrease in an asset or an increase in a liability. And the other element is revenue. Revenue is the gross inflow of economic benefits during the accounting period arising in the course of ordinary activities of an entity when those inflows result in increase in equity other than increase in relating to contributions from equity participants. Again, it is difficult to understand. But you can understand one thing. Revenue is the gross inflow of economic benefits during the accounting period arising from the ordinary business activities. Understand that way. Ordinary business activities. For every business, there must be an ordinary business activity. If it is a trading organization, the business activity is buying and selling. So then, sales revenue is the ordinary business activity and the benefit is, the gross inflow is the sales revenue. If it is a school, then main activity, the inflow arising from main activity or the ordinary activity is the school fees. If it is a hospital, charges, hospital charges, right? So then that is the gross inflow of economic benefits during the accounting period arising in the course of ordinary activities. So that is the revenue. Say a business organization, say trading business, it has excess vehicles or old vehicles. Still you can have a gross inflow of economic benefits. You are receiving cash. It is not part of the main economic activity. So therefore it cannot be recognized as revenue. Examples: sales revenue, commissions. If you are selling goods on commissions, sales commission. Discounts received. If you are providing services to others, service revenue. Plumbing, electrical services. Transport, PMVs, the main source of income or the revenue is fare, bus fare. Fees, schools, rent, the property companies, Real estate companies, rent. High charges, transport companies. Banks, interest on loans. It varies. So what is balance sheet? Balance sheet is a statement of assets, liabilities, and owner's equity of an entity. Accounting equation also consists of assets, liabilities, and owner's equity. But it is in equation form. It is in equation form. Balance sheet is a statement. You know the difference between equation and the statement. In a statement, we list down the assets, liabilities, and owner's equity. The balance sheet shows the financial position of an entity at a particular date. So this is very, very important. At a particular date. So balance sheet is normally prepared at the end of the year. So January 1st to 31st December is the accounting year or financial year. So then we prepare financial statements at the end of the year. So therefore, balance sheet shows the assets, liabilities, and owner's equity on that date. Whereas the income statement shows revenue and expenses for the year ended 31st December. That's the reference. It is the accumulation of revenue, accumulation of expenses in total, but here the assets, liabilities, and owner's equity on that date only. On that date only. So therefore, balance sheet equation also, asset equals liabilities plus owner's equity. Instead of accounting equation, sometimes we refer it to balance sheet equation. So then balance sheet equation or accounting equation, same thing. Same thing. Same thing. So you know the definition and recognition of all these components. Now we'll move on to the other statement, that is income statement. The term we used in the past is profit and loss statement. The correct term is income statement. Even this has been changed recently, but we are not adopting those changes to beginners. So income statement is a statement, again it is a statement that shows revenue and expenses for the accounting period and the operating results. Revenue for the year starting from January 1st to 31st December, the total sales revenue and other expenses like salaries and wages, rentals, electricity, vehicle repairs, depreciation, everything for the year. So then revenue minus expenses is the net profit or net loss. So that is the operating result. So income statement shows the operating results meaning profit or loss. Therefore, the profit equation is profit equals revenue minus expenses. From day one, I have been mentioning this term, account. Not accounting, account. When I defined the ledger, I said a ledger consists of accounts. So then we must know exactly the meaning of account. Account is the record of changes in various assets, liabilities, owner's equity, and expenses arising from business transactions. When there is a business transaction, these elements may change. So then changes are recorded in various accounts maintained for that purpose. Say for instance, if you pay salaries and wages, so then salaries and wages recorded in the account will increase. So then to increase salaries and wages, we use the salaries and wages account. Similarly, if you make a payment, so then cash at bank balance will reduce. So then changes, increases, decreases. In accounting we have only two things, pluses and minuses only, increases and decreases. We use these two terms only, right? So then it is easier than mathematics. Mathematics you have multiplications and divisions, all four functions. Here only two. So then it is easier than mathematics. So then how many accounts you are required to maintain in your business? It is mentioned or stated in the document called Chart of Accounts. For every organization, there must be a document called Chart of Accounts. Chart of Accounts is a listing of accounts to be kept in the ledger. In most cases, each account, there must be a number, identification number. So you are recognized by number in some cases. We need the ID number all the time with your name. Similarly, for all the accounts in the chart of account, two components, number and the title. So we will learn chart of accounts later, I just mentioned. So now we are moving to work out accounting. Still we are talking, we haven't started working, right? So we are slowly moving towards that end. The accounting, the generally accepted accounting system is called double entry accounting. Double entry accounting. When I say double entry, so you may ask, is there anything called single entry? Right? Yes. There is something called single entry accounting also. But it is not a generally accepted accounting system. It is normally practiced in very small business organizations. But we are here not to go to very small business organizations. We are here to learn accounting and want to work in very large organizations. Or you want to set up your own organization, again it is not a very small thing. It will be a medium-sized or large organization. So therefore, I am not going to teach single entry accounting in this class. But your brothers and sisters may be learning this in grade 12 and grade 11, basically, grade 11. They start grade 11 with single entry accounting, right? Yes. And move on to the double entry accounting. So what is double entry accounting? Double entry accounting is an accounting system under which every transaction is recorded in two or more accounts with equal debits and credits. It is an accounting system under which every transaction is recorded in two or more, sometimes two, sometimes three, more than two. So when there is a transaction, this particular transaction is recorded at least in two accounts, at least. Sometimes it is three, sometimes four, depending on the transaction. But there is another condition. The condition is debit equals credit. If you debit an account with 10,000 kina, then same amount should be credited to one account or two accounts, 5,000, 5,000 or 6,000, 4,000, but equals the debit value. So that is the beauty of this system. Every transaction, there must be equal debit and equal credit. So after making your entry or series of entries in ledger accounts, later you can check whether the total debits equals credit or not. If not, there is something wrong somewhere. So then you can double check and correct the incorrect entry. I already explained. It is a self-control system, because if debit value doesn't equal the credit value, so then we know that something is wrong. So therefore it is a self-control system. Errors and omissions can be detected easily and early. So these are the advantages of double entry accounting system. In single entry accounting, these advantages are not there. If something goes wrong, if there are any errors, omissions, so it cannot be detected early or easily. Then what are the double entry accounting principles? The double entry principles are applicable to assets, liabilities, owner's equity, revenue, and expenses. So the principle applicable to assets, given here. Increase of assets, debit. Decrease of assets, credit. Debits and credits. These are the two things that we are doing in accounting. Whether it is accounting 1 or accounting 6 or 7 or 10, it is same. Right? It is same. Debit asset to increase and credit asset to decrease. Okay, what is the double entry principle for liabilities? To increase liabilities, credit, and to decrease debit. So these are the principles we cannot change. So you may ask why credit? Why you want to credit liability rather than debiting it to decrease? So then I don't have any answers. Right? I don't have any answers. So these are the set of principles that we are required to follow. We are required to follow. Then what are the principles relating to owner's equity? Increases credit, decreases debit. Double entry principle for expenses: to increase expenses, debit; to decrease credit. Then revenue: increases credit, decreases debit. Decreases debit. And this is the summary of what I have said. Type of account: increase and decrease. Increase of assets, debit; decrease credit. Liabilities: increases credit, decreases debit. Owner's equity: increases credit, decreases debit. Expenses: increases debit, decreases credit. Revenue: increases credit, decreases debit. So this is the thing that you should note carefully and memorize it. So I have been telling debit, credit. What is meant by debit and credit, if you ask a question? There is no meaning of the two terms debit and credit. But if you ask what is debiting, I have an answer. Debiting is an action word. So debiting is recording a transaction in the left-hand side or debit column of an account. Now you know the meaning of account, right? Account is used to record changes arising from business transactions, and later we learn the double entry principles. Double entry principles are applied to record transactions in accounts. So debiting means recording a transaction in the left-hand side of an account or debit column of an account. Then crediting is recording a transaction in the right-hand side of an account or credit column of an account. So right-hand side. So we have right-hand side and left-hand side, two sides, right? Yes. If something is If you want to record something in the left hand side, then it is called debiting. If you want to record something in the credit side, so then you have to record it in the right hand side. All right, so now what is left hand side and right hand side of an account, and what is the shape of an account? Okay, this is the shape or the sample of an account. You can see the thick line here in the middle, right? In the middle. So that is the dividing line, debit side and the credit side. And on the debit side, you can see, or left hand side, you can see date, particulars, J reference. J reference means journal reference. JRef means journal reference. And then amount involved. The right hand side also you can see similar columns and size of each column in the debit side and the credit side identical. Date column in the right hand side and left hand side same size. Particulars column same size. Journal reference column is smaller than the date column and the amount column. Right? It is half of that. And then amount column, both sides same size. So your left hand side is the debit side of an account. Hereafter we don't use left hand side and the right hand side, debit side and the credit side. And your right hand side is credit side. So if you want to credit a particular amount, then record it in the credit side. If you want to debit something, a particular amount, record it in the debit side. And for each account, there must be a title. Title. Here it is cash at bank account. Cash at bank account. Cash at bank account is maintained in the ledger to record changes in cash, increases or decreases. Your cash is always in the bank, so we call this account cash at bank account. But here this is a sample and you have seen this account for the first time, therefore I use the complete title cash at bank account. But all the time, in all the ledger accounts, writing account, it is meaningless. So therefore, in future, we don't use the term account for each and every account. We just write cash at bank. When you write cash at bank, everybody knows it is cash at bank account. Right? And say for instance, salaries and wages account. You don't have to write salaries and wages account. You just write salaries and wages. So then everybody knows it is salaries and wages account. If this is the format, so it is an account. Right? We need the title only. Right. Now you know the meaning and format of an account. But on top of it, I put something here. T format. T format. T capital. So if you ignore the other columns and think about the main line and also the division, it is like English letter T. So therefore, the people call it T account. T account. This is again invented, developed by the British. As you know, the Americans don't like it to follow the way the British do. So they always want to change, right? Driving, left hand, right hand. Spellings, you have seen many letters. British spelling and American spellings different. And some usage of terms, I already explained, debtors to account receivable, creditors to accounts payable, right? Yes, there are many, many changes. Therefore, the Americans came out with another format. They developed the accounting packages. With the accounting packages, they came out with this format. If you read an American book, you will find all the ledger accounts in columnar format. But now, of course, the other countries also following the same method. But I have one reservation. It is always better to learn T format and then move on to the columnar format. Columnar format is just recording without using your head. But in T formats, yes, you are supposed to use your head, not only pen, right? Yes. When there are accounting problems, we always use T format accounting. Anyway, now you can understand there are two types of formats. One is the T format, the other one is columnar format. Debit side, credit side, there are no debit sides and credit sides. This is debit column and credit column. Debit column and credit column. Journal reference applicable to both debit and credit. Particulars column applicable to both. Date column applicable to both columns, debiting and crediting. And there is another column, that is the balance column. After each and every transaction or each and every record, either it is debit or credit, then you record the balance also. So any given time, you can find the ledger account balance also. That is the advantage of this format. In T format, you have to make an extra effort to find the balance. Yeah, this question is taken from page 26 of the book. So it is difficult for you to write everything written here, but let me explain. This question gives you some transactions. David Kavas commenced a business to provide cleaning services. The transactions that have taken place during the first 7 days of business are given below. 1st June, introduced 10,000 cash, and this is the capital, initial capital for the business, starting capital. And on the following day, he purchased office furniture, and then he bought a cash register, But for the furniture, he paid cash 500. But for the cash register, he didn't pay any money. He didn't pay any money. He purchased this item on credit from Paradise Limited. So, as a result of this transaction, you create a creditor. You create a creditor. Creditor's name is Paradise Limited. Then, the following day, he went and purchased a motor vehicle for 2,000 kina, and immediately he deposited 1,500 kina to the vehicle dealer, Hagen Motors, and he agreed to pay the balance money, that is 500 kina, later. So in this case, the value of the asset is 2,000, and he paid a portion of the value, but not the full amount. So therefore, it creates a creditor, but not for the whole amount. The creditor, the amount, accounts payable is 500 kina only. So in this case, 3 accounts involved. 3 accounts involved, so we can see the solutions later on. 5th June, the owner paid 800 kina to Paradise Limited to settle the account. Once you pay this amount, the creditor's amount will reduce to 0, I believe. Yes. Cash register purchased on 2nd or 3rd June is 800 kina, and now you are paying 800 kina. Then on 6th June, the owner introduced additional 5,000 kina as capital. Now capital has increased from 10,000 to 15,000. Then the 7th June, owner withdrew 500 kina for personal use. Now, we will see how these transactions affect assets, liabilities, and owner's equity. In other words, to basic accounting equation. So if you have a table like this, the first column transaction, rather than writing everything here, and then element of equation, item of accounting equation. Item of accounting equation means the exact item of the asset. Asset consists of large number of items. Cash, motor vehicle, so we listed down them earlier. And then we must know the asset or the cash at bank increase or decrease. Effect is increase or decrease. And the amount involved. This is to analyze the transaction and understand whether it is increase or decrease and the item of element. The first one is the introduction of capital, 10,000. As a result of this transaction, asset will increase. Asset will increase. What is the asset that will increase? Cash at bank. Now think about it. You are working for a business, say this business, and you are the manager. The owner comes and gives you 10,000 kina, and you have the cash box. You put that amount to the cash box. So then cash box is the cash at bank account. So cash at bank will increase. Cash at bank is an asset account. Similarly, the owner's equity also increase. Owner's equity also increases by the same amount. Owner's equity is recorded in the capital account. So we have to have a separate account to record owner's interest. That is called capital account. Capital account increased by 10,000. In the second transaction, the owner purchased office furniture, paying 500 kina. The office furniture also an asset, as you have learned earlier. Office furniture also an asset. So then office furniture will increase by 500. And in order to buy this office furniture, you paid 500 kina in cash. Then what happened to the cash at bank account balance? Reduced by 500. So therefore, cash at bank minus 500 and office furniture plus 500. The next one is the purchase of cash register but on credit. When you purchased an asset on credit, what will happen? Asset will increase and at the same time liabilities also increase. Cash register is an asset. Creditor here, the Paradise Limited, a liability. So then liability increased by 800, asset increased by 800. On fourth, owner purchased a motor vehicle for 2000 kina. So therefore, motor vehicle is an asset increased by 2000. And what happened to the cash? He paid 1,500 immediately, deposited 1,500. Then cash at bank will reduce by 1,500. And now value of the vehicle is 2,000. You paid only 1,500 or deposited 1,500. The balance amount payable is 500. That is the liability. Liability is represented by a creditor. Now here, three entries. On fifth, what happened? The owner paid 800 kina to settle the creditor's account, that is Paradise Limited. Then cash at bank minus 500 or 800 rather. Cash at bank 800 minus and creditor also minus. Creditor also minus 800. Creditor is represented by liabilities or liabilities are represented by the creditor. Asset in this case is represented by cash at bank. What is next? Owner brings 5,000 kina as an additional capital. The 10,000 he introduced at the beginning is not sufficient, so therefore he brought another 5,000. Same transaction, similar to first one. Capital increased by 5,000 and cash at bank increased by 5,000. Then seventh, the owner withdrew 500 kina. Then what will happen to the cash? Decrease by 500. And owner's equity also reduced by 500. capital also reduced by 500. So this can be presented in this format as well. So that means assets, owner's equity and liabilities, that is the accounting equation. So then if you put it in this format, so you can record all the transactions according to this format as well. Assets increased by 10,000, owner's equity 10,000. Office furniture, asset increase, another asset decrease. That means changes are within the asset group. Changes are within the asset group. So that is also possible. And both cash register on credit, so then liabilities and assets. So that means both sides of the equation. Here, both assets on partial payment of cash. One asset increase by 2,000, so that is the motor vehicle, and another asset decrease by 1,500, that means cash at bank, right? Liabilities increased by 500. So net increase in asset is 500, increase in liability 500, both equal. Payment to creditors affects both sides of the equation to reduce the assets as well as the liability. Owner introduces capital, similar to first one. Then move on, the last transaction here. Owner's equity reduced by 500, assets reduced by 500. That means both sides minus. Now, at this stage, if you add all the assets, the total assets will be 15,000. And owner's equity 14,500. Initially he introduced 10,000 and later on 5,000 and withdrew 500. Therefore, owner's equity on this date is 14,500. Liabilities 500 only on this date. So therefore, asset equals owner's equity plus liabilities. Whatever the number of transactions you list down here, this is the final outcome. This is the final outcome. Assets equals owner's equity plus liabilities. So, in businesses, you can have a schedule like this and record each and every transaction like this. One can say, but it is not possible. Why it is not possible? In a business situation, the real situation, how many transactions taking place in 1 minute? Right? Quite a large number of transactions. Then who is there to record all these things like this? Right? Difficult. So therefore we have to devise a system. System is double entry system, accounting system, and for each and every changes we have to have separate accounts. The changes are recorded in different accounts. Now you have seen in the third column, right? In the third column of the previous presentation, element of accounting equation, asset, liabilities, owner's equity, revenue and expenses. Right? These are the elements. Under each element, there must be some items. Items means accounts to be kept. in the ledger. Right? For each item, we have to have accounts. In this list, see how many accounts you need. We need cash at bank account. We need capital account and office furniture. Again, don't say cash at bank. We need only one cash at bank account, right? And then creditor, Paradise Limited 1. We cannot put everything into one account, creditor. So each creditor we have to have separate account. Then what else? Motor vehicle. Again we have to have a creditor but under different name. What is it? Hagen Motors. Right. That's all. So these are the accounts we need. Right? In this simple exercise. Balance sheet. There is a relationship between accounting equation and the balance sheet. Because we are dealing with assets, liabilities and owner's equity in accounting equation and also in the balance sheet. So therefore what we have summarized can be presented as a balance sheet. So if you prepare a balance sheet, basically what is there? It is the summary of accounting equation. Assets include office furniture, cash register, motor vehicle and cash at bank account. How do you get this? Office furniture, only one transaction. Cash register, only one transaction. Motor vehicle, only one transaction. Cash at bank, we started with 10,000 kina and then we started paying for furniture, right? Settlement of Paradise Limited's account, right? And also drawings, right? And we received additional capital of 5,000. Once you deduct all the payments, the final amount is 11,700 in this case. Then total assets 15,000. Owner's equity represented by the capital account. Now you can remember how much he has introduced as capital during this period. 15,000. Okay? And he withdrew how much? 500 kina. Now, at 7th June, the capital balance is 14,500 only. Creditors, yes, at the beginning we created a creditor for the cash register we purchased, Paradise Limited, and later Hagen Motors, another 500. But Paradise Limited account was settled, so therefore we have only one creditor. The creditor's value is 500. Then total 15,000. Both sides same. Owner's equity plus liabilities 15,000 and total assets 15,000. In the balance sheet we have to have the elements and items. Elements and items. Items means accounts. Different accounts. Another concept. During this period, after introducing accounting equation, I also explained two additional elements, revenue and expenses. So revenue and expenses can be incorporated into the accounting equation if you want. And also that is good because you can understand or identify the revenue and expenses also during that period. Therefore, we introduce revenue and expenses to the accounting equation, that is the basic accounting equation. Once you incorporate revenue and expenses to the basic accounting equation, we call it expanded accounting equation. So therefore, the expanded accounting equation includes assets, liabilities, owner's equity, revenue, and expenses. So then equation is A equals L plus OE plus R minus E. R minus E is P, so therefore if you want, you can replace R minus E with P if you want. OE plus P. But expanded accounting equation includes these 5 elements. Now try to understand the relationship between owner's equity, revenue, and expenses. As revenue increases, owner's equity also increases, and vice versa. Expenses increases, decrease the owner's equity, and vice versa. So then if you want to increase the owner's equity in your business, so then what is required is to increase the revenue and decrease expenses. So then you can increase the owner's equity. Why? The difference between revenue and expense is the profit. As profit increases, the owner's equity also increases. Earlier I mentioned the components of owner's equity. Capital plus profit minus drawings. As you increase profit, owner's equity also increases. So therefore, if you want to increase the owner's equity, then increase revenue and decrease expenses. That is the basic principle in business. Relationship between profit, revenue and expenses. As revenue increases, profit also increases. As revenue decreases, profit also decreases. As expense increases, profit also decreases. So then positive relationship between increase of profit, revenue, it's a positive relationship. Profit and expenses, inverse relationship. Okay, again we look at few transactions. This list of transactions include revenue and expenses. Owner is Sana. Sana contributed 50,000 kina as capital, initial capital, and then purchased a truck for cash and spent some money, 300 kina, for fuel, and purchased supplies, office supplies, stationery, and bought fuel from Gordon Service Center on credit, right? No payment. The main business, the core business is providing transport services. Here on this date, received cash and then provided transport services to Boroko traders for 1,500 but on credit. Paid cash for office rent, 100 kina. Received part payment from Boroko traders, 600 kina. Then value of the office supplies used during this period was 100 kina. So this is a transport business. Main source of income or the revenue is the transport services provided by this business to the various customers. So here include revenue and expenses. Then we'll see how we record these transactions on this format. Asset equals liabilities plus owner's equity plus revenue minus expenses. Now we have to think about the revenue and expenses. We have learned assets and liabilities and also the owner's equity earlier. Capital introduced by the owner. Now you know what will happen. Increase assets and increase owner's equity. Purchase a truck for cash. Cash. Increase or decrease? Decrease by 20,000, that's why minus 20,000. And increase asset, that is the truck, 20,000. Right? Truck is the vehicle, motor vehicle account or truck account. We can have the motor vehicle account or a truck account, delivery truck. 20,000, cash reduced by 20,000. Paid fuel expenses, cash minus 300, expenses plus 300. Increase expenses, right, by 300. Purchase office supplies. Office supplies is an asset, right? That is what we have to establish at this stage. This is a service organization. In service organizations, they purchase office supplies and other supplies. So this is normally treated as an asset because they buy supplies in bulk and use from time to time. Therefore, supplies is an asset, and at the end of the period, you recognize the value of supplies used for the business. So then we recognize expenses. Purchase of his supplies, asset increase and another asset decrease. Cash decreased by 200. Fuel expenses on credit. Expense increased by 150 and liability increased by 150. Although we purchase fuel on credit, still we treat it as an expense. I said the other day, we follow the accrual accounting principles. Therefore, cash payment or receipt is not the criteria that decides whether it is a revenue or expense. Then received transport charges. This is a cash transaction. Revenue increased by 3,000 and asset increased by 3,000. The asset is the cash. Then provided transport services on credit. Still we recognize the revenue, although it is a credit transaction and we haven't received cash over the counter. And the asset increase is what? It is the data. Data. We provided transport services on credit to one of our customers. So then that customer is called data, right? So data increased by 1,500 and revenue increased by 1,500. Paid office rent, yes, straightforward. Expenses increase, asset decrease, that is cash at bank. Value of office supplies used, the last day of the transaction, it says they recognize that they have spent or used 100 kina worth of office supplies. So therefore, asset decrease and expense increase. That's how it is recognized. Cash received from debtors, yes, debtor decrease and cash increased. Now if you add this column, you end up with 54,000. 54,000. Liability column, 150. Owner's equity column, 50,000. Revenue column, 4,500 kina. And expenses, 650. But here I put minus 650. You may ask why. Now here in total column, we want to deduct. This is horizontal. Earlier we recorded vertically. Now horizontally. Horizontally, revenue minus expenses. So therefore, it is minus. Right? It is minus. How much is the profit? How much is the profit? You know the profit equation. Yes? And also remember, this is accounting class, and you have to have a calculator. Don't use mobile phones to add figures here in this class. Right. So profit is 4,500 minus 650, that works out to 3,850. Right? Total assets 54,000. Then liability plus equity plus revenue minus expense also 54,000. Right? Profit 3,850 plus 50,000 is 53,850. That is the total equity, if you want to look at the total equity. But here only the capital account is shown, 50,000. Then 150, then total 54,000. So we can use the accounting equation, expanded accounting equation, in order to arrive at profits as well. Right? Yes. So these are the relationships. Relationship between various elements. Various elements of accounting equation. All right? Are you with me? Not Elsa? I hope you are here. Right? Yes. Okay. Then that is the end. Right? That is the end. But if you want, we can work out the balance sheet also. Right? We can work out the balance sheet and see how it works. Using the figures given here. Right? Let me work out the balance sheet. So this is my balance sheet. So then you may ask another question. Earlier balance sheet, the format that I used for earlier balance sheet and this one, different. Right? So these are two alternative formats. Either you can use the one I have shown you earlier or this format. Both same, acceptable. This one is more acceptable. So here again assets, liabilities and owner's equity with additional items. So if you list down the transactions or analyze transactions in the accounting equation format, and then we can have a balance sheet. We can have a balance sheet. In this balance sheet, yes, the profit also shown. So there is a relationship, as I said earlier, direct relationship between accounting equation and the balance sheet. Balance sheet is a statement. Accounting equation is an equation. Right? Yes. This is the difference. So I hope you have learned something today and ready to learn double entry accounting in the next class in details. Right? In details. For next lecture is on double entry accounting. Thank you.